Good evening and welcome to Newsa. I am Esther Suzanette Bassi. Coming up, a man appears in court for allegedly inflicting severe injuries on a child's hand. National Drug Law Enforcement Agency destroys illegal drugs worth over $1.5 million. And government and UNICEF push for children's access to safe drinking water. Well, these stories and more in this edition of Newsa. Please stay with us. Welcome back. Abubakar Jallo, a man who allegedly inflicted severe injuries on the hands of a child, has appeared before Justice Simeon Aliyu on 2 counts: causing grievous bodily harm with intent to disable a child and physical violence resulting to amputation of a child's forearms. Mohammed Koma tells us more.
The defendant, Abubakar Jallo, appeared before the court on 2-count charges causing grievous bodily harm with intent to disable, contrary to Section 18 of the Offences Against the Person Act of 1861, and child torture, contrary to Section 19 of the Child Rights Act of 2025. According to the particulars of offense, on 12 February 2026, the defendant allegedly inflicted severe injuries on the hands of a child, Mustafa Kanu, thereby causing grievous bodily harm with the intention to disable him. Count 2 states that the defendant, on the same date and address, subjected the child to physical violence resulting to amputation of his forearms. When the charges were read and explained to him, Jallo pleaded guilty to count 1 and not guilty to count 2. State Counsel Yusuf Isaac Sise applied for an adjournment to enable the prosecution to prepare submissions on sentencing in respect of the count to which the defendant pleaded guilty, as well as to determine how to proceed with the second count, which remains contested. In response, Justice Simeon Aliyu noted that the defendant was now a convicted person on count 1 by virtue of his guilty plea. He directed the prosecution to be prepared to proceed with the matter to address the court on sentencing at the next hearing. Meanwhile, there was no legal representation for the defendant, Abubakar Jallo. The matter was adjourned to 18th June 2026. For SLBC, Mohammed Koma reporting.
Sierra Leone's main opposition, All People's Congress Party, lost its national chairman, Honorable Alhaji Minkailu Manzali, a veteran politician and one of the party's most influential figures. He passed away on Monday, 15 June 2026. A member of the media team, Alfred Minkailu Koma, described the late man as dynamic and a unifier within their party. Well, here is an excerpt of a statement during a Good Morning Sierra Leone program.
Was one of the strongest pillars in the APC. At the time when the party was actually at the brink of collapse, he was able to hold the party together. I mean, this person is a unifier. I mean, he's not just a politician, but a unifier equally. He can negotiate, he can mediate, he can bring people together. I mean, he was able to transition the party from 2018 as chairman. Yeah, deputy chairman in 2018, but Ernest Bai Kromah was already retiring. So he was serving in that particular capacity. In 2023 February, he was elected as chairman. Because whenever you have the opportunity to engage with him, he can not only give you tutorial, but can also guide you to shape your political pathway. He tells you about Shaka Stevens, the S.I. Kuroma, the C.A. Kamatelo, because he had the opportunity to serve in them at a very young age. And so he rose through the ranks of the party. He was National Youth League President of the All People's Congress, and he was chairman of the Western Region, deputy chairman of the party, before he was elected national chairman and chief executive officer of the APC. So this is an individual with vast knowledge. I mean, the vacuum cannot be easily replaced. Alhaji Minkailu Mansari served the APC with distinction in several capacities over many years. He rose through the rank from President of the National Youth League to Western Region Chairman, Deputy National Chairman, and ultimately National Chairman and Chief Executive Officer of the party until his passing. Beyond his immense contributions to the APC, Honorable Alhaji Minkailu Mansari served Sierra Leone with dedication and patriotism under the administration of President Ernest Bai Koroma, holding positions of Minister of Labour and Social Security and Minister of Mines and Mineral Resources. Honorable Alhaji Minkailu Mansari was an accomplished statesman, a loyal party man, and a respected national figure whose wisdom, humility, and service touched countless lives. His passing is a tremendous loss not only to the APC family but to Sierra Leone as a whole, that he served as both Minister of Labour and Minister of Mines. He was also Honourable Member of Parliament for Constituency 103, now Constituency 121. And this constituency at the time covered Clinton, Kisibrook, part of Rabe, and some other areas, in the East End. And so after the elections in 2007, he was now appointed minister, and then he left Parliament to now serve as minister. Yes, we are devastated because of the fact that this is a person that in the midst of controversies is always calm.
May his soul rest in peace. And that was Alfred Michael Koroma, a member of APC media team. We'll now take some stories on health. The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency and Transnational Organized Crime Unit have destroyed illicit drugs like tramadol, cocaine, and marijuana, among others. The Executive Director, National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, Andrew Kaikai, said the illegal substances worth over 1.5 million United States dollars. Our reporter Abdul Mansari witnessed the burning of the drugs at Togo headquarters in Freetown.
The exercise drew a wide range of drug enforcement bodies to destroy a very large scale of illicit drugs. The Executive Director of NDNEA, Andrew Kaikai, announced that a total of $1,525,000 of narcotics, including marijuana and cocaine, was destroyed. He emphasized the importance of such exercise in building public confidence in the justice system.
The tramadol, tapedol alone, what will they destroy today? Now, a street market value of 1.5 million United States dollars. When you mix that with the cocaine, now a total today of 1,525,000 United States dollars. Now they destroy today. That don't mix the jabba, the widow, and you get some ecstasy now.
Head of Toku, Michael Aga, said collaboration was crucial in the seize and destruction of these illicit substances. He expressed gratitude to the Sierra Leone police and various partners for their unwavering support in the fight against drug abuse and trafficking.
The fight against drug trafficking cannot be won by law enforcement alone. It required achievement, participation of communities, family, educational institutions, religious organizations, civil society, and every responsible citizen.
Senior Technical Advisor to the Ministry of Internal Affairs, Amadou Mana, reported that there has been an increase in arrests recently because of the coordination in the security sector. Director of Serious Organized Crime, Sir Mosiri, addressed ongoing efforts to intercept containers suspected of carrying drugs. Mosiri said that measures were being implemented to prevent the possessing of these containers. He also condemned institutions involved in drug trafficking. Despite efforts put to destroy those drugs, there were people who tried to frustrate the process by breaking Tuku fence to retrieve the drugs while burning. However, police officers were working on strategic security measures. SLBC News, Abdul Mansari reporting.
A team from OIC Comstek in Pakistan has begun a training session for health workers and administrators on maternal and newborn care services. It was also geared to building their capacity on how to manage high-risk factors leading to maternal death and stillbirths. Yusuf Mose Suma witnessed the event at the Princess Christian Maternity Hospital in Freetown.
The training targeted health workers and administrators of the Princess Christian Maternity Hospital in Freetown. Key areas the training focused on: how to manage childbirth-related emergencies. The team also looked at timely intervention and early detection of signs of high-risk factors on maternal death and stillbirth. The Deputy Minister of Health 1, Dr. Charles Senesi, expressed excitement and thanked the trainers from OIC Comstek for their intervention. He said such move was to complement the effort of the ministry in strengthening the health sector.
Indeed, this is to be added value because as a Minister of Health, we look at holistic response to the health delivery system. We call it the life-saving model, and we are happy they are going to home in on the key areas of our life. Our flagship program, maternal health and newborn care. That's very critical for us, for most of us who come here at most unexpected time. I'm very passionate about maternal and child health.
Head of delegation from Pakistan, Professor Dr. Said Hassan Allah, said the death rate of maternal death in the Asia and African continent is alarming, and it signals there are gaps in the fight against maternal mortality.
Signals emerge in the third world, especially in Asia and Africa. These women are dying because of the problems or emergency problems that we do not, unfortunately, we are not providing them for any reason. Either loss, we do not have the logistics, we do not have the medicine, these women do not able to come to our hospitals, or we do not have the expertise, we do not have the workforce, we don't have the capacity building.
Medical Superintendent of the Princess Christian Maternity Hospital, Dr. Amadou Sise, described the training as timely as the country gears towards fighting maternal death in Sierra Leone. He said cases of maternal death has reduced drastically at the Princess Christian Maternity Hospital.
CMH has actually made significant progress in terms of reducing maternal death and improving on maternal and newborn health outcomes. For example, between 2024 and 2025, we saw a drastic reduction in the numbers of maternal deaths in the hospital. It reduced from 84 deaths in 2024 to just 64 deaths in 2025. That is about 22%. And it's something that we are happy about. Even though we don't want to see any woman die, we aim for zero. But I think we are on the right track to achieve that goal of ensuring that no woman dies of preventable causes when they come to our facility for childbearing.
He called on trainees to execute maternity care professionally and encourage pregnant women in communities to visit health facilities frequently. One of the participants, Dr. Antonius Bao, lauded the team for the training and said it will help them greatly in their daily work. SLBC News, Yusuf Mosire Suma, Freetown.
The Sierra Leone Pediatrics and Neonatal Nurses Association has been launched. Its mission is to strengthen specialized nursing care, promote professional development, and advocate for policies that support the health and well-being of children and newborns across the country. Orwin Fox has more.
Formally declare the launch of the Sierra Leone Pediatric and Neonatal Nurses. Healthcare professionals, development partners, government officials and stakeholders
gathered at the President Julius Maada Bio Pediatric Center of Excellence in Freetown for the official luncheon ceremony held under the theme Prevent Infection, Protect Every Newborn. The event marked the formal introduction of an association dedicated to improving the survival, health and well-being of newborns and children across Sierra Leone.
Our association was born out of a shared passion to give every child in Sierra Leone the best possible start in life. As pediatric and neonatal nurses, we stand at the front line of care. We hold tiny hands, comfort worried mothers, and work tirelessly each day to reduce child and newborn mortality in our communities.
The program manager, Infection Prevention and Control, Nana Fofana, said it was important to prevent infection in neonatal and pediatric care. She told the nurses that they have critical roles in reducing preventable infections through various measures.
Infections remain a major contributor to neonatal illness and death worldwide. Yet many of these infections are preventable through simple but effective measures such as hand hygiene, environmental cleanliness, sterile procedures, safe delivery practices, and early recognition of infection risks. As nurses and midwives, we are uniquely positioned to make the greatest impact, whether in the labor ward, neonatal intensive care units, pediatric wards, community health centers, or in an outreach setting. Our actions can mean the difference between life and death of our newborns.
The association also unveiled its website and social media platforms designed to improve communication, professional networking, knowledge sharing, and public engagement. Stakeholders and development partners described the launch as a significant milestone for Sierra Leone's health sector, noting that a strong and coordinated pediatric and neonatal nursing workforce is essential for reducing preventable death and improving healthcare outcomes for children. SLBC News, Alwyn Roy Fox reporting.
Sierra Leone has joined the other countries in the African continent in commemorating the Day of the African Child. The day was coincided with the National Children's Conference, which focused on water, sanitation and hygiene. Christiana Kamara witnessed the event at the Family Kingdom in Freetown.
Ensuring universal access to sustainable and climate-resilient water, sanitation and hygiene services for every child in Sierra Leone was the theme for this year's commemoration of African Child Day. The event brought together UNICEF, government ministries and agencies, development partners, child rights organizations, and members of the Children's Forum Network. During the session, it was noted access to safe water, sanitation and hygiene is a fundamental right and a critical requirement for children's health, education, and overall well-being. It was a platform for renewed calls for urgent action to address persistent gaps in water, sanitation, and hygiene services. UNICEF and its partners said the situation will continue to affect children's health, education, and dignity across the country. According to UNICEF, access to improved water services increased from 34% in 2010 to more than 50% in 2022. Its Deputy Representative Officer in charge, Mona Coxgard, said, although Sierra Leone has made progress in expanding access to safe water, significant challenges still remain.
The Day of the African Child is not only a moment for reflection, it is a call to accelerate action. UNICEF stands ready to continue working hand in hand with the government, partners and communities to ensure that every child in Sierra Leone can grow up healthy, safe and with dignity, in line with the Convention on the Rights of the Child and the African Charter on the Rights and Welfare welfare of the child.
Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Gender and Children's Affairs, Aminata Sano, said despite Sierra Leone's abundant water resources, many children still face challenges in accessing safe drinking water and proper sanitation due to population growth, climate change, environmental degradation, and pressure on water systems.
Across many communities, women and children spend considerable time every day fetching water, often from distant and unsafe sources. This burden affects children's education, health, safety, and overall well-being.
Professional head of the Ministry of Water Resources and Sanitation, Augustine Toka, acknowledged persistent gaps, especially in rural areas, and called for stronger collaboration and increased investment to achieve universal access to water, sanitation, and hygiene services for every child in Sierra Leone.
There are still challenges, particularly in some rural and out-of-reach communities, where many children still lack access to safe managed water supply, improved sanitation, and appropriate hygiene facilities.
9-year-old Grace McCarthy of the Children's Forum Network delivered a children's position paper on water, sanitation, and hygiene, and called on authorities and partners to prioritize clean drinking water in every school, provide safe and private toilets, especially for girls and children living with disabilities. She called for them to be involved in decisions affecting water, sanitation, and health services. The Child Rights Coalition also used the occasion to advocate for increased budgetary allocation to the water, sanitation, and hygiene sector, stronger coordination among stakeholders, and community-based solutions to address persistent inequalities in access to clean water and sanitation facilities. SLBC News are in Freetown, Christian Akamari reporting.
A significant boost to community policing and conflict resolution efforts has been recorded in Cambia District following the commissioning of a newly constructed local policing partnership board building and a multi-purpose hall by the Inspector General of Police, William Fayaselu. The newly commissioned facility is funded solely by the chairman of the Cambia District Local Policing Partnership Board, Abubakar Suma, expected to strengthen cooperation between the police and local communities while helping to address disputes, complaints, and misconduct involving police personnel in the district. Paramount Chief of Village Chiefdom Alhaji Alusain Sankoso Ila II commended the collaboration between Sierra Leonean and Guinean security agencies in maintaining security along key border crossing points. Meanwhile, Inspector General William Fayaselu thanked Abubakar Suma and the Local Policing Partnership Board for their outstanding contribution to policing infrastructure and community development. He emphasized that effective policing can only be achieved through strong partnerships between the police and the communities they serve. The police chief, on the other hand, encouraged young people to support crime prevention efforts by providing timely and useful information to law enforcement authorities. To support operations at the new facility, the Inspector General pledged a decoder with a 6-month subscription, a 65-inch smart television, 10 motorbikes, and 3 desktop computers. Now, away from there, over 300 media practitioners convened in Makini over the weekend to observe the 55th Annual General Meeting of the Sierra Leone Association of Journalists with the theme Strengthening Sierra Leone's Economy Through Responsible Journalism. Yusuf Mose Suma was there and sent this report.
The two-day gathering brought together journalists, editors, media administrators, and executives from across the country to review the work of SLAJ, discuss critical issues, and chart the way forward for the association's growth for the coming year. During the sessions, delegates received the executive's annual reports, financial statements from regional executive and affiliate bodies. Discussions also covered the impact of digital media economic platforms, professional reporting and responsible journalism, and strategies to combat misinformation by upholding professional ethics and accurate information dissemination. Delivering his statement, the president of the Sierra Leone Association of Journalists, Alhaji Manika Kamara, thanks members for their participation and urged unity in addressing challenges facing the media landscape. He said journalists play a critical role in society by helping citizens understand the economic stance in a country.
As journalists, we occupy a unique position in national development. Through our reporting, investigations, analysis, and storytelling, we help citizens understand economic realities, hold institutions accountable, promote transparency, and stimulate informed public debates on issues that directly affect livelihood and national progress. Responsible journalism is therefore a professional obligation, but most importantly, it is a national duty. When we report accurately, fairly, ethically, and independently, we contribute to building public trust.
He highlighted strides made by the executive in strengthening the capacity of its members. He said the executive will continue to strengthen the association and contribute meaningfully to the society. The president further stated that capacity building for journalists across the country has been part of his leadership since he attained office. He assured of transparency and accountability, responding to rumors and concerns from the membership about the subsidies received from government. The president assured members of the association that the subsidies received from government cannot in any way prevent the work of the media, neither it has been muzzled by the government.
SLAG acknowledged receipt of the annual government subsidies allocated to the association in the tune of 2.7 billion. Let me state clearly that this support is neither unusual nor a compromise of our independence. The subsidy is a long-standing public allocation to SLAG as a recognized professional body that serves the public interest through media development and the promotion of responsible journalism. Accepting such support does not diminish our responsibility to hold government accountable, nor does it silence our voices when issues affecting media freedom, transparency, or good governance arise.
A representative from the Ministry of Information and Civic Education, Frances Josephine Kafula, stated that responsible journalism helps to promote social stability and promote economic growth, and it's not only the responsibility of economists, policymakers, but a collaborative effort, and the media plays a vital role in it.
Look at responsible journalism supports social stability, which remains a prerequisite for economic development. History teaches us that economics flourish where peace, social cohesion, and public trust exist. Conversely, misinformation, inflammatory reporting, and irresponsible communication can generate tensions that undermine economic progress. Journalists, therefore, carry responsibility that extends beyond reporting events. They are custodians of social trust. Their words have the power to build confidence, operate uncertainty, to promote unity or deepen divisions, and to encourage constructive engagement or fear unnecessary conflicts.
Managing Director of the United Bank for Africa, Mohamed Samura, who served as the keynote speaker, emphasized on responsible journalism, which he said is not just a moral choice, but it is an economic necessity, and the story the media tells about the economy of the country keeps its image. He said journalists should speak truth to power and move from media survival to media entrepreneurship.
Let us speak truth to power. but let us also speak truth to ourselves. We cannot talk about responsible, independent journalism if the practitioner is suffering. We cannot talk about holding powerful institutions accountable when media houses struggle to pay basic salaries, buy fuel for generators, or keep the lights on. As a banker, I look at the media landscape through the lens of sustainability. For too long, the media model in Sierra Leone has relied on the culture of handouts, political patronage, or adult corporate sponsorships. This model is fundamentally unsustainable, and quite frankly, it compromises the independence of the media. If a politician or a corporate entity is the sole reason your media house survives the month, your ability to report responsibly on that entity is severely compromised. Exactly. Therefore, I challenge the leadership of SLAG and all media providers here today to think like entrepreneurs. We must transition from media survival to media entrepreneurship.
SLBC's Emmanuel Samura is amongst media practitioners that were recognized for their professionalism in executing their work as journalists across the country. Yusuf Mosire Suma, SLBC News, Freetown.
You're watching News Air live on the SLBC. We continue with more stories. In a fast-evolving media landscape dominated by digital platforms and microblogging, traditional broadcast journalism has recorded a historic achievement at the maiden joint national award ceremony organized by the Sierra Leone Association of Journalists SLAJ and the Independent Media Commission. SLBC News editor and reporter Emmanuel Samura emerged winner of the Outstanding Reporting on Arts, Culture and Tourism category. His award-winning feature, which highlighted the historic Falaba District Women's Festival organized by Saint Sierra Leone, has been widely praised as a strong example of impactful public interest journalism. Almami Conte profiled Emmanuel Samura in this story.
For this category is Emmanuel Samura.
The SLAJ and IMC dinner and National Media Awards ceremony was a night of prestige, validation, and history. The ceremony marked the first time both media regulatory bodies jointly honored excellence in journalism, celebrating outstanding work across the country's media landscape. Standing tall among the awardees was SLBC's Emmanuel Samura, proving that through storytelling still holds unmatched power. The journey to the award took him far into the provinces, capturing the spirit of the first ever women's festival in Falaba district. Speaking after receiving the award, Emmanuel Samura said the story was developed during coverage of the festival, where he chose a human-centered storytelling approach aimed at making viewers feel part of the experience, with the beneficiaries forming the heart of the narrative.
Then the thing that inspires me is the uniqueness of their culture. Then another thing that moved me also was that the women, they did not only celebrated culture, but they also celebrated, the work that they've been doing over the years when it comes to agriculture. Because the women showcased, they were into farming, more farming. So they showcased their several products.
Management of SLBC described the award as a reflection of the institution's commitment to credible and high-quality journalism. Director General Josephine Fatima Kamara noted that the report was featured, well-produced, and professionally executed.
And I keep saying what makes him stand out, because he saw the advertisement for the award. He made an effort to pitch the story. He probably did his research very well. He crossed his T's and dotted his I's. He second sourced. The report was factual. Data that he may have included in that report was authentic data. It's not fake news. It was well edited, both script as well as digital editing.
Behind the production was a dedicated team. Camera operator Samuel Abiose Stalin recalled challenges during production, including a near loss of footage due to a technical failure.
So first of all, when I received the news during the weekend, I was so happy because I was the one that chose the story. And I insisted that, Emmanuel, this story is good. You want to go for an award. Let's use the story because I did my best on that particular story. I know what I did and I know the different shots I took. So I was like, let's go for this story. This is good. This is nice. I think this is the best. And Emmanuel was like, Stanley, are you sure we are going to? I said, we are going for this award.
Colleagues also praised Emmanuel's consistency and dedication. Reporter Jonathan Turner described him as a detail-oriented journalist with a strong passion for storytelling, while editor Joseph Toure said Emmanuel consistently brings depth and creativity to his work.
At Limpopo University, we were classmates, and that kind of person, though that he has the zeal and the zest for education. Because I can still remember when we were in class, if that kind of person has detailed for handwriting, spelling, and those kind of things. So when we are having presentation, we are having storytelling assignments, you see Emmanuel agile. He wants to take the lead. He wants to write. He wants to tell the story. So that kind of individual, for me, it was not a surprise. It was, I know the capability. I know the kind of individual.
Emmanuel is a very dedicated staff. Even as script editor, he also reports. And of course, when he did that story for Send Sierra Leone, I knew that story was going to be something very unique.
The award is seen as a significant milestone for SLBC, reinforcing its role in delivering credible, high-quality journalism and inspiring the next generation of broadcasters.
As Sierra Leone continues discussions on governance reforms and national cohesion, stakeholders from government, academia, civil society, political parties, and the media have gathered in Freetown to examine the prospects of introducing proportional representation at the executive level. The National Roundtable, organized by the Faculty of Leadership and Governance at IPAM, seeks to explore alternative governance models aimed at promoting inclusiveness, stability, and sustainable peace. Our reporter Olwin Fox has the details.
The National Stakeholder Roundtable on Proportional Representation at the executive level brought together a cross-section of Sierra Leonean society to discuss possible reforms to the country's governance architecture. Held at the Foreign Affairs Academy Auditorium in Tower Hill, the forum focused on how proportional representation and shared executive models could contribute to greater political inclusion and reduce the winner-takes-all nature of governance. Organizers noted that while Sierra Leone has adopted proportional representation for parliamentary elections, executive governance continues to operate under a system that often leaves sections of society feeling excluded from decision-making processes.
For decades, we have operated under a majoritarian winner-takes-all system. We must have the courage to acknowledge that this man does what this man does to our society when earning 51% of the vote yields 100% of executive control. The remaining 49% of the electorate is structurally shut out of governance.
The roundtable provided a platform for experts, policymakers, political leaders, academics, and members of the media to exchange views on international best practices and their relevance to Sierra Leone's political landscape. Various speakers emphasized the need for broad national dialogue and consensus building in considering any future constitutional or election reforms, stressing that inclusivity remains critical to long-term peace and democratic consolidation.
Over 10,000 public consultations, received over 150 position papers, had over 20,000 hours of airtime, had broad engagements across the country, and gave us a report which should be the roadmap for a new and improved constitution. Of course, we saw the 2017 white paper and the 2021 white paper. One thing was very prominent in the Cowan report. Cowan report, after all of those consultations across the country, after looking at best practices across the world, recommended that this country should transition permanently to the proportional representation system of government.
But he had to do it, because as he said, it will dismantle monopoly, it will open political space, it will restore pluralism, and it will lay the foundation for the multi-party democracy incident we pride ourselves in today with APTA.
The discussions also highlighted the importance of ensuring that governance systems reflect the diversity of Sierra Leone's population while maintaining accountability, transparency, and effective leadership. SLBC News, Alwyn Roy Fox, reporting.
Well, it's now time for a segment, beginning with our international news. This is the international news. I am Esther Susanette Bassi. Hundreds of ships remain at a standstill in the Strait of Hormuz as the United States and Iran reached an initial agreement that would extend their shaky ceasefire and lead to the reopening of the strait. Exact details of the deal, which would potentially allow oil and natural gas to reach the global market through the critical waterway, were not immediately and officially released. The Memorandum of Understanding, brokered mainly by Pakistan, starts with the simultaneous lifting of Iran's closure of the Strait of Hormuz and the U.S. blockade of Iran's ports, according to Pakistani officials. The two sides will then begin 60 days of negotiations over Iran's nuclear program and the potential lifting of sanctions. World leaders gathering at the G7 summit in France face high-stakes talks on two major global crises, the war in Ukraine and instability in the Middle East. The discussions come just days after U.S. President Donald Trump announced a breakthrough agreement to end the recent conflicts with Iran, shifting international attention back to Ukraine. Middle East security is also high on the agenda, with leaders from Egypt, Qatar, and the UAE joining talks on regional stability and efforts to reopen the strategically vital Strait of Hormuz. As diplomatic tensions and global economic concerns collide, the summit is shaping up to be a crucial test of international cooperation. The Democratic Republic of Congo's Ebola outbreak continues to worsen, with confirmed infections climbing to 808 and the death toll reaching 192. Health authorities are battling the spread across 3 eastern provinces, while isolation and response efforts remain underway. Authorities are maintaining emergency response operations in the provinces where the outbreak remains concentrated. The current epidemic is caused by the Duburgio strain of the Ebola virus, a less common variant that has complicated containment efforts. Based on official figures, the outbreak has recorded a case fatality rate of 23.8%. Health authorities continue surveillance, patient isolation, and community outreach campaigns in an effort to slow transmission and prevent the disease from spreading further. And finally, in the international news summary, Kenya will pay a compensation to almost 2,000 victims of protest-related human rights abuses, President William Ruto said, marking a rare national reparations process outside the judicial system. Violent protests in the East African nation have left a trail of destruction in which hundreds of people have died, were injured, or suffered business losses. The victims of human rights abuses will begin receiving compensation after vetting by the state-funded Human Rights Commission. The total payout is expected about $15 million. The president was speaking during the release of a National Reparations Framework report. He said the compensation represents a state acknowledgement that harm occurred and was not an admission of guilt. Well, that's it for the International News Summit from the Sierra Leone Broadcasting Corporation Television. I am Esther Susanette Bassi. Thanks for watching. Continue to stay glued to the public service broadcaster. Well, it's now time for entertainment news.
Hello and welcome to another update of our exciting entertainment news with me, Abdul Mansari. In this edition of entertainment news, SLBC at 16, DG Josephine Kamara speaks on plans for SLBC. And of course, we'll ride you through happenings in the reality TV show House of Stars. And finally, we have Aisat releases cover of Jungle Leader's song Love Not to Pass Money. Now, on the 15th June 2010, the Sierra Leone Broadcasting Service transitioned into the Sierra Leone Broadcasting Corporation. It's now 16 years since the transition, and the staff and management celebrates the success stories with games and entertainment. In an interview with the SLBC Entertainment Desk, the Director General of SLBC, Josephine Fatima Kamara, spoke on plans for the public broadcaster.
I think the branding for don't change by now. Let people then not look at SLBC as government owned, but as a national broadcaster where they seek the public interest. Me wants now local content. So we they reach out, we they encourage entertainers. House of Stars, Housemates Sierra Leone, if you notice, even with limited resources, we still try for squeezing so that Sierra Leonean entertainers them will be heard. Hopefully by the end of this month or towards mid-July, we will get the entertainment channel back full force. But una get for fan one room, I see we they make the small studio where they up there. We don't make one big studio, we main television studio. We try for finalize the other small studio where they upstairs. Hopefully by the end of this month, we will get studio. So until I don't go to host to our entertainment.
And now, the House of Stars reality TV show is on and week 10 gone, with 10 in the house. And one of the twins, Jacob MCC, taking the voting lead, King Embassy second, Orica Charles third, and Joseph TLCC at the bottom. With just 2 weeks to the grand finale, who will win this edition? The season 3. No eviction so far. The most exciting story for the House of Stars weekend is the release of the song done by the stars themselves. The song is out on YouTube, Facebook and other social media handles.
Move the way you move, you dey bust my brain like no move. The things you do, the things you do, none of them girl can do what you do. You na bad man flavor, da 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 da. Girl you got that flavor. Da 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 da, you know Batman flavor. Da 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 da, can you got that flavor?
It's really nice and yummy. Good one. And finally, the cover of Love Not to Pass Money, done by the young Sierra Leonean Afrobeat artist Aisat. As usual, she did it in a melodic and soft manner that appeals to the soul. We got the video from her Facebook page. Let's have it.
Tell me why you they run by me, why you they lie to me, yeah. Why you they hide by me, love not to pass money, yeah. Why you no go pay me, oh. Take the time we go give we money, yeah. Why you they run by me, love not to pass money, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Sweet indeed. Don't forget, today is the SLBC's birthday. Sweet 16. And of course, that's all we have for you in this edition of Entertainment News. And I have been your presenter, Abdul Mansari. Bye-bye.
Many thanks to our entertainment desk. And now for our final segment, let's join our sports desk for some latest updates.
Welcome to the sporting updates that keeps you in the know. And by the way, my name is Abdul Kavi, and thank you so much for your time. Now, in a bid to tackle cyberbullying and online abuse, among many other things, Orange Sierra Leone has ended an exciting football competition titled Good Connection in a bid to capture the young people who are coming to the ranks. Here is the update.
Prince of Wales Secondary School. I do love the boys, they are very much young. Approximately, I'll tell you, Prince of Wales, it seems as if they have the youngest squad.
Good connection. Orange connects 1 of millions of people every day through our network and our digital services. But we believe that a good connection is more done than the phone or internet. A good connection is one that brings together, that can bring people together and to create opportunities and to build strongest communities. Internet today and social media are powerful. They can help learn, create opportunities, and stay connected with friends and family. As young people, you are the digital. Discipline, perseverance, and also teamwork. This value can help us to grow as individuals and to contribute to communities, positively to communities. So I encourage you to be ambassador of this positive attitude in your schools and in your communities. I would like to thank you, all organizers, particularly Orange Sierra Leone team, our partner, teacher, coach, and I wish you a wonderful day, feeling with learn, with fun, with friendship and sportsmanship. And thank you, good luck for this day.
In the international scene, a defeat for the Teranga Lions of Senegal in the 2026 FIFA World Cup in their opening match against France. But today it's truly a tough moment for the Teranga Lions of Senegal. It's just the start. They should go back and roll up their sleeves for subsequent matches and rectify the very many problems they encounter against France. And that ends your update, and thank you so much for watching. See you next time.
For today's canal, to end the news, the main points again. Abubakar Jallo, a man who allegedly inflicted severe injuries on the hands of a child, has pleaded guilty to 1 count in court. The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency and Transnational Organized Crime Unit have destroyed illicit drugs like tramadol, among others, worth over 1.5 million United States dollars. And finally, on the commemorating the Day of the African Child, government and UNICEF have pushed for children's access to safe drinking water in Sierra Leone. Well, that's how we wrap up this edition of News Hour from the SLBC. I have been your anchor, Esther Susanette Bassi. Thanks for watching. Have a blessed night.